This one got the most votes, so in this week's video I'm reviewing and testing the Gourmia automatic soft serve ice cream and frozen drink maker, so let's get started. This is model number GSI1020. Heads up, it is heavy. I found it easier to lay it on its side and slide it out of the box. It's got a 2-litre capacity and weighs 11 kilos. Once I had it upright, I can show you the full 360-degree spin. There are vents on the sides and the back, and there's also a cord wrap handle at the back. On the right side are some stickers to help you should you get a flashing alert on the machine, so it's a good idea to keep these on. There's a built-in cone holder and a removable drip tray. I thought some parts were missing at first, but turns out they were packed underneath the cardboard. I found the topping warmer and the power cord here. The first thing I did was remove the tray at the top. That's actually the fill port where your ingredients will need to be added. Never add anything in here without the full port in place. Next, I remove the lid, which is a little stiff at first. You need to rotate it counterclockwise to the unlock symbol and then pull it off. Then I remove the auger by sliding it out and then sliding out the cylinder, and here you can get a good look inside the cylinder area. Also remove the topping dispenser and then give everything a good wash. The manual says to run a rinse cycle to clean the auger and cylinder, but I prefer hand washing all removable parts. As always, I also wipe down the outside and inside of the machine to remove all and any residue from shipping and packaging. Once everything was clean and dry, I started assembling it. I slid in the freezing cylinder first with the round socket towards the back. Then I inserted the fill port at the top and made sure the stud aligned with the hole. Next came the auger with the hexagon shaped end at the back. Slide it onto the metal shaft at the back. Then place the lid on, aligning the unlock symbol with the little triangle on the unit, and then rotate it clockwise to the lock symbol. Again, it is a little stiff, but you want to make sure to lock it properly, otherwise the machine won't start. And your toppings dispenser will slide in on the left side. Next, attach the drip tray by inserting in these 3 clips here into the base of the unit. You should hear them click in. And then pop the warming cup on the warming plate. Now that it's all been assembled, I'll give you some quick measurements if you're wondering whether or not it'll fit on your counter. The height is close to 16 inches, but you'll also need space to open the lid. The width is about 9 inches, but with the cone holder down it's about 11 inches. And measuring the depth from the lid handle all the way to the cord storage, it's a little hard to give exact, but roughly 17 or 17.5 inches. When you power on the unit, the LED display lights up for a few seconds before going dark. To wake it up, press the power button and you'll see all 6 presets: soft serve, slush, spiked, milkshake, frappe and sorbet, and the warming station. My kids were super excited, so we jumped right in. They filled the topping dispenser with chocolate sprinkles, which landed everywhere else too. Then we made the vanilla soft serve recipe that came in the book, starting with 2 cups of whole milk, 1 cup half and half because I didn't have heavy cream, 3/4 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and a little more than 1/8 teaspoon of table salt because I didn't have kosher salt. Mixing everything before slowly pouring it into the fill port. The lid also has indications for maximum amounts to add, so 2 cups is a good amount for soft serve. I powered on the unit and selected soft serve. My first impression, it's not quiet, but it's not super loud like the Ninja machines. Unfortunately, it does make a constant motor sound while it works. There are 10 texture control levels. Soft serve defaults to level 1, which you can see is flashing, and you can increase the texture level to 10 by pressing the right arrow, but the manual does say to use the default level for the first time until you get the hang of it, I guess. So I decreased it back to level 1. Now the box says ice cream is ready in 30 minutes. So after 25 minutes, I threw some candy melts into the topping warmer. These are Wilton candy melts I found in store, which harden in seconds when you pour it on ice cream, just like magic shell. I placed the cup on the warmer and selected the warming function. You want this to be ready when the ice cream is ready. You will need to stir it a few times as well in between. Feeling the sides of the unit, the left side blows cool air while the right side blows out warm air. It's handy to know if you're placing it near walls or other appliances.
I feel like we should mix it.
So 30 minutes had passed and my kids were just all over the place, so excited. But the machine continued until eventually after 40 minutes, we heard a faint beep over the sound of the motor. I probably would have missed it if I wasn't standing close by. The motor does continue to run though, so I was a little confused at first because I thought it was still in the process of making the ice cream. Then I took a look at the display panel, and according to the manual, the texture bar will turn from flashing to solid to indicate freezing process has ended, and it is now in the keep cold mode. But the motor still has to run. The keep cold mode runs for 3 hours and then it will automatically turn off. So grabbed a cone and pulled my first swirl. Honestly, I was impressed. It looked great, better than I expected for the first go. I tried using the topping dispenser, but the sprinkles were just shooting out so fast and far. I couldn't angle the cone quite right. I eventually held it a little higher and centered it over the outlet, hoping to catch some of the sprinkles. It did make a mess everywhere. I definitely need to practice this skill, but take a look at it. It came out really nice and it was so yummy. The recipe was spot on. For my second cone, I drizzled the chocolate melt, which wasn't a good idea because it was a total mess. It slid right off the soft serve and most of it ended up on the tray and on my counter. I think this might work better for bowls rather than cones. I noticed that during the keep cold function, the ice cream started getting a little softer. So I increased the texture level to 10, hoping that will keep it more frozen, if you will. And then I made a sundae with some strawberry syrup and I sprinkled on the chocolate sprinkles. And remember to use plastic spoons because it will slide right off a metal one. I wasn't sure how much ice cream was left inside the unit because it's hard to see anything through the lid. So I thought I'd try to dispense the rest of it, but there was only a tiny bit in there. You can hear the auger making a knocking sound. That tells you it was empty. So I powered off the machine and got ready to clean it. Before cleaning it, you have to wait at least 30 minutes after using the machine to ensure the water won't freeze. For cleanup, I removed the toppings dispenser and the topping warmer, and you can separate the bottom part of the toppings dispenser by pulling on it. Then I added warm soapy water to the fill port, about 1.5 cups I think. Then I need to press and hold the sorbet button for a couple of seconds to begin the rinse cycle. The display panel will show the texture bars moving back and forth. The rinse cycle runs for 5 minutes, but you can stop it at any time by pressing the sorbet button again. I just let it run for the full 5 minutes to test how well it cleans the auger and cylinder. Once it is done, the motor will turn off and you can dispense all the liquid and remove the lid. But heads up, when you open the lid after the rinse, it drips a lot, so have a jug or bowl nearby to catch any leftover liquid. At first I thought the cylinder was just slippery and slick when I couldn't pull it out. Then I remembered I needed to remove the fill port first, then pull out the cylinder. So I did wonder at first what the purpose of the rinse cycle is meant to do, because you still have to open everything up, pull out the cylinder and the auger and wash them by hand. There's no way I'm leaving all that gunk sitting in there, unless it's rinsing some hidden internal parts, which I don't think it is, because it seems like the water only runs through the auger and the cylinder. I don't see it going anywhere else. Personally, I'd just run the rinse cycle for a minute or two if I've used something sticky, just to loosen things up, and then remove everything and wash it all properly by hand. Lastly, I wiped down the drip tray and even under the machine because some liquid had leaked through. So this part wasn't in the booklet that came with my unit, but I found it while browsing the Gourmia website. It explains how to properly clean the lid and lever. Here's what you need to do. Let's start with the gasket, which can be removed for cleaning. Just insert a thin flat utensil. I'll try the tip of a butter knife to ease it out, and look at all that gunk left over just from running it once. Now to separate the lever. First, the booklet says to insert a small screwdriver into the pinhole on the left side of the lever. I raided my husband's toolbox and I found his Allen keys, which I found worked much better because you can push it against the pin to slide it out and remove it. And then carefully set that aside so you don't lose it. Now you'll be able to remove the lever from the lid. Then push the bottom of the cork up and out of the spout, and look how dirty and sticky that is as well. Wash and clean everything really well because, like I said, everything's really sticky. Then make sure to dry everything thoroughly before putting it back together. To reassemble, I'll add the gasket in first with the smooth side facing the lever. Next, insert the cork back into the spout. You can see that there are two sections here. You want the rounded section. Push it in all the way down and make sure the cork opening is facing forward. Then hold the lever with the handle facing forward and insert this little latch here at the bottom of the lever into the cork opening. And then align the pinholes in the lever with those on the lid and hold onto the crown end of the pin and insert the flat end into the pinhole. You're basically threading it through from the right side all the way in. I did find it a little stiff towards the end, so I had to use a little padding to help my thumbs push it through. I got most of it in other than this tiny bit still sticking out, but that should secure everything in place. Hopefully it'll get easier the more I do it. Finally, attach the lid to the unit and just test the lever by pulling it downwards and upwards, and it all seems stable, so that should be good. So it's good to know that the lid can be pulled apart to clean all the little areas where food comes in contact with. Now here's what I think about this machine. After using it a couple of times, I actually like it. For my kids, it's a dream come true. For $200 at Costco, I think it's a decent buy. It gives you more variety compared to the Ninja Swirl, which is around $500 in Canada, and the slushy machine is sold separately for $400. This one has everything in one. It's compact and doesn't take up too much counter space. The soft serve came out smooth and creamy. I love that everything comes apart easily and is simple to clean. The downsides are the machine runs loud for the full 40 minutes of making soft serve on level 1. I don't know if the time increases if you select a higher texture level. That's something I have to test next time, together with how much of a difference there is in the texture level. The texture control isn't clearly explained in the manual. You kind of have to figure it out as you go along, and it's more about personal preference, I believe. So I hope to cover that in the next video. The keep cold mode also makes the same running sound as the freezing process, so it's hard to distinguish whether it's in cold mode or still processing unless you come and look at the display if you missed the beeps. The rinse cycle feels a bit pointless because you still need to remove everything and wash it by hand. The dispenser and warmer are more gimmicks than essentials. I think they're more fun for kids. It's a little tricky to skill and I still need practice for cones. It may work better for sundaes or bowls. And if you are wondering about the slushy program, I poured in 600 ml of orange Fanta and left it on the default texture level of 5, which ran for about 30 minutes. And this was so good, and we found the texture level to be ideal. We're all really excited about the slushy program and we can't wait to use it again. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed and found the video useful. Please be sure to give it a like. I do plan to make another video, like I said, once I've tested all the other features. And if you do want me to test out another product, please do let me know. If you can't wait for my next video, you can always follow me on Facebook. I usually share lots of behind the scenes stuff, from recipes to tips that I couldn't cover in my videos. If you are enjoying my YouTube channel, I'd love it if you subscribed. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.